Emily, the cold-blooded murderer of her father. In 2024, the quiet town of Northampton was shaken by a horrific crime. But to truly understand its motives, we must go back 16 years in time to uncover the personality of Emily and how she could lose all sense of humanity so quickly. And selfishness and greed really drive someone to commit the unthinkable, even at the expense of their own loved ones? Beginning 2008. Richard Collins, a 32-year-old man, lived a stable life in Northampton. He worked as an electronics technician and was well respected in his community for his kindness and dedication to his work. From a young age, he had been self-reliant, building his future step by step, until he was ready to start a family. That same year, Richard decided it was time to get married. After searching for the right person, he chose a woman from a respectable family in the same town. Their engagement was brief, and soon after, they were married. The couple moved into their new home, which was conveniently located near Richard's family. Just a year later, they were blessed with a baby girl, Emily, who quickly became the center of their world. Richard was deeply attached to her, showering her with love and care. However, as she grew older, her personality took an unexpected turn. Emily developed an extreme sense of entitlement. She believed everything in the house belonged to her alone and was unwilling to share anything with anyone. Her parents never saw this as a real problem, but over time, this selfishness would lead to a disaster no one could have predicted. The death of her mother and the beginning of a change. By the time Emily turned 13, tragedy struck. Her mother passed away suddenly. The loss was devastating for both her and her father. Richard, however, was determined to be both a father and a mother to Emily. He dedicated his entire life to taking care of her and refused to remarry, believing that his only duty was to raise his daughter until she finished school and got married. Fearing for her future, Richard decided to secure her financially. He opened a bank account in her name and deposited all his savings into it, but under the condition that she could not access the money until after his death. He also transferred ownership of their home to her, with the same condition. She wouldn't be able to claim the property until he passed away. Richard kept all of this a secret, believing that when he eventually died, she would appreciate what he had done for her. What he didn't realize was that Emily had entirely different plans in mind. 2023, the arrival of Lucas in her life. By 2023, a new figure entered Emily's life. Lucas Miller, the 19-year-old son of Richard's friend. Lucas worked as a small taxi driver to help his father and was an adventurous young man who quickly caught Emily's attention. Lucas proposed to Emily, but Richard firmly refused, insisting that she would not marry until she turned 18 and completed her studies. However, Lucas persisted, and so did Emily. Eventually, Richard gave in and allowed them to be engaged, but with strict conditions. No private outings and only one supervised visit per week. At first, Emily accepted these conditions, but soon she started feeling trapped. She wanted more freedom, so she turned to social media, creating makeup tutorial videos that quickly gained popularity. The restrictions her father imposed became an obstacle to her desires. That's when she began to think of a way to get rid of him. Sinister plan. As 2024 began, Lucas and Emily started discussing running away and secretly getting married. This way, they could force Richard to accept their marriage. However, Emily soon realized that such a move would mean losing everything, the house and the bank account. That's when she came up with a more sinister idea, killing her father. She shared the plan with Lucas, explaining that once a year had passed since her father's death, she would inherit both the house and the money, and they could live together without any obstacles. Lucas found the idea brilliant, and together they started plotting the murder. The day of the murder. On the morning of the murder, Lucas called Richard, pretending that his taxi had broken down in the garage, and asked him to come and help him fix it. Richard, not suspecting anything, immediately agreed and went to meet him. Little did he know that he was walking straight into a trap. As soon as Richard entered the garage, Lucas struck him on the head with a metal rod, causing him to collapse. Without hesitation, he then pulled out a knife and stabbed him multiple times until he was certain that Richard was dead. After confirming the murder, Lucas called Emily, letting her know that the plan had been executed successfully. At home, Emily remained shockingly calm. She opened the closet, took some of the cash her father had saved, and grabbed a bedsheet before heading to the garage. On seeing her father's lifeless body, she felt no remorse. Instead, she helped Lucas wrap the corpse in the sheet and tie it with ropes. Afterwards, she returned to her aunt's house, laughing and chatting with her cousins as if nothing had happened. She even filmed a new makeup video and posted it on social media, appearing happier than ever. Meanwhile, Lucas returned later that night, took the body, and dumped it into a remote river, convinced that no one would ever uncover the truth. Discovery of the crime. As hours passed without Richard returning home, his family began to worry. Emily remained eerily composed, claiming that her father had told her he was going to fix a customer's TV and might be late. Then, a mysterious phone call came in. An anonymous tip-off claiming that a body had been found in the river. When Richard's family rushed to the scene, their worst fears were confirmed. It was indeed his body. Police investigations began immediately. Emily's cold demeanor raised suspicions, and soon detectives turned their attention to Lucas. Upon checking Lucas's phone, they uncovered a series of incriminating messages between him and Emily. Messages detailing the murder plan, the execution, and even how to erase the evidence. Both of them were arrested. Lucas was sentenced to death, while Emily, due to her young age, faced a different legal process. Chilling ending. Regardless of the circumstances, no one could ever imagine that a 15-year-old girl would be capable of killing her own father for money. Sometimes age is just a number, and when someone decides to become the devil on earth, they can commit unimaginable horrors.